So from our end of it, we're working with Annuity Rate Watch, CanX, and ultimately the software that anybody who's seen the podcast before, Annuity's Genius, has seen that as well.
Yeah, and it ultimately came down to when we started our firm, right? And I've said this on other episodes. Our mission was to right the wrongs of our industry and create a better annuity buying experience. And we fully believe that that starts with transparency. Like you said a moment ago, annuities, when somebody's going to talk to an advisor, sometimes they keep it close to the chest, right? And they don't unpack everything. And it's a weird situation when you're in that environment. You're talking about your retirement, for crying out loud, and potentially a significant portion of those assets going into an annuity. And what do people have to hide about it? And so when we got started, it was all about transparency. And we believe that trust matters and transparency fosters that trust. And that's when we started to look at how can we make this buying experience better and really shift, like have a dynamic shift where anyone that comes to talk to us, they don't feel like they're being sold something. They feel like they're being empowered to make their own decision because they have the ability to compare and contrast all of the available options right in front of them, real time.
Mm-hmm.
And we do it on the fly. That's the beautiful thing about our experience, is that we do it on the fly. Whereas, 99% of the other annuity advisors out there, the way that their meeting process is going to work is you're going to meet with them first. They're going to learn about you and what your goals are and things, and maybe what your assets might be. And then they're going to say, I'm going to need to, research some options. And then the next meeting, I'll show you a couple. And then they're going to sell by illustration, which is something that majority of them do, is they'll pick the three annuities they have. They'll pick one or two of them, and then they're going to just show you this like big lofty illustration, and that's what they use as a sales tactic. Whereas with us, real time, on the fly, sometimes even in the first meeting, when we get to learn about your situation and what you're looking for, what your goals and objectives are, and what assets you have to fund those goals. If we cover enough information at the end of that first meeting, you're going to be able to see the whole marketplace and have access to all of those products that are going to help you meet those objectives. And you're going to come away from that first meeting with a feeling of empowerment and saying, wow, this is amazing. Like, I know exactly what's available. I know what companies are offering the right products for my situation. And I even know how to evaluate them. And ultimately, the goal in working with us and us working with you is to lift or increase your annuity IQ, to have you reach a higher level of education, to assess the marketplace so that you can confidently make a good decision on your financial future. And obviously, we're going to make our recommendations. That's where we come in. But you're going to know exactly how we determined those recommendations and came to them ultimately. And you're going to have a high degree of confidence in those being the right recommendations for you, not them just being a recommendation, but you're going to understand how we got there and why they are the recommendation.
Yep. I don't think I can add anything more to that. I think we covered that pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's important. So it's all about starting with the advisor. The other thing that we were going to cover real quick in that topic, and then we'll move on, was, ask them the tools that they use to come up with the recommendations. They should be willing to show you those. Ask them what products they have access to. And then last but not least, there's another way to check how many carriers or annuity providers they are working with. And I know in Florida, which is our headquarters here at Annuity Association, if you go to the Florida Financial Services website and you look up my name, you'll see my license. And then when you click on that, it'll show you all the carriers that I'm appointed with. And so you can do that in your state, whatever state you might be in. You can look up your state's financial services website or insurance license website and figure out who you're working with, and then look up what carriers they're appointed with. And if it only shows like one or two, that's a red flag. If it shows dozens, that's a good sign. But
Great